Albano here, MMA Outsiders podcast and Fan-Sided MMA, joined here with Danny Sabatello, the Italian Gangster. Big night of MMA for Bellator on December 9th, where Danny here is going to be challenging Raufeon Stots, interim Bantamweight Championship, semifinal in the Bantamweight Grand Prix. Danny, thanks so much for joining today.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
All right, so it's only been, what, 3 fights so far in Bellator, and I got to say, you have taken the world by storm quite a bit. What does it mean to you to have taken such a rise, not just a quick impact on the bantamweight division or on a certain a certain division or a certain fan base, but just the entire promotion?
Yeah, it's really just a dream come true. I think one of the things that resonates really well with the fans is that when I talk trash and I am this certain type of person, that's actually who I really am. The fans can kind of feel if somebody's fake and they're kind of giving on a gimmick or cheesy or corny or anything like that, putting on a shtick. With me, I don't put on a shtick, and I think the fans know that they know that this is my electric personality. But obviously, none of this fucking works unless I go out there and I fucking win my fights. And the good thing is, I don't just go out there and win my fights. I fucking dominate these guys. You look at my resume and I'm fighting really good elite fighters and I'm straight up dominating them. And then before and after the fight, I'm very electric on the mic. I think I talk the best trash talk that there is. So obviously it's been a very successful career so far, and it's only going to get bigger and better.
Yeah, you definitely have made the headlines this year for, as you said, your work on the mic. You have the gift of the gab. Has this always been something you've had naturally?
Yep, absolutely. I always talk trash no matter what it is. We could be playing ping pong, baseball. We could be flipping a coin to see who's going to call heads or tails. I'm always going to be talking trash. It's just what I do. It's what's really fun to me. Obviously it's good in MMA and people don't really do it as much. But one thing with me is I'm just having fun with it. I don't care if it sells fights or doesn't sell fights. If it gets people to love me or hate me, I don't really give a fuck. I'm just having fun with this. I absolutely love fighting and I love everything that surrounds it. I love everything that comes with it. I love the trash talking. I love the media. I love the spotlight. I love obviously the act of absolutely fighting, but I love everything about it. Obviously trash talk is really fun to me, but also I really do believe in mental warfare. With this trash talk, it's very calculated and very smart. I have these guys reacting in a way that they don't really react. I get guys actually to talk trash when I fight them, and that's foreign territory to them. This is way different and way out of their comfort zone. They don't really talk trash in the Bellator Bantamweight division, and I have them all fucking saying my name and talking trash. So they're really all my sons out there, and it just makes it even better for me.
It definitely is something that separates you from the rest of this pack in this bantamweight title scene. And speaking of your trash talk, earning you a lot of fans, earning you quite a lot of hype with your fights. Obviously, you and Raufeon were there in Chicago not too long ago for the Bellator to promote your title fight. Obviously, you trained with Merrick Tatim, but you were born in Chicago. What was it like to be in your hometown crowd and just, promoting such a big fight for you?
Yeah, it was sick. I live down in South Florida and I go to the best gym in the world down at American Top Team, but Chicago will always be home. That's where my friends and family are. So it was absolutely electric to go back and promote the fight. Obviously, we were about 3 or 4 weeks out from the fight, so I couldn't go out and party with all my boys and have too much fun. It was really just a business trip. I went there on Friday, came back on Saturday. It was awesome. There was a massive crowd there that night. It was a great night of fights. It was nice seeing that little bitch Raufeon Stots and getting in his head even more, if that's even possible. Obviously, he was very fucking nervous that night. He was shaking all over the place. He was doing his normal stuttering, what he always does when he talks trash to me. So anytime I can get in front of that guy or have him face to face with me, I think it's a win in my book because I get in his head even more. And I have this mental warfare down to a T with this guy. He's very scared. He's going to have a lot of built up aggression. He's going to come out December 9th at the Mohegan Sun and he's going to act like he's very excited. He's going to be putting a lot of energy and singing along to all these songs. And he's going to be acting like that he's really ready for this fight. But I know deep inside he's panicking, and that's a lot of nervous energy. You're going to look across from the cage, and it's just going to be me, a cold-blooded killer. Me, someone that's always done this shit, always talking trash before the fights, and him, he's going to be in foreign waters. And I think we're going to see it. I think the moment's going to be a little bit too big, a little bit too bright for him. And that's just what I want. I want to make this moment as big as possible because I'm somebody that rises to the occasion. You put pressure on me, you put the spotlight on me, and I'm going to be even better. And someone like him, I think that he's going to crumble under the spotlight.
So that leads me to my next question because I did have my co-host Zan there at the backstage at the Bellator 288. What is it about Raufeon specifically for those who don't know that you just don't like? And is there something you see in him as a competitor that can kind of salvage some of that?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a tryhard. He's a fake motherfucker. He's very different from me. We're obviously very opposite types of people. Every time I go on Instagram or Twitter or any type of social media, he's always already liked that person's picture or commented on their stuff. He tries to get everybody to love him. He's just fake. He's a gym slut. He goes from gym to gym. He's not loyal to any team. Obviously just a very different person from me, opposite in every type of way. So I really just don't get along with people like that. I really want to put my fucking elbow through his skull just in terms of him as a person. But obviously, when you go in there and in the cage and he's trying to take away my goals and my dreams, I'm going to hate the guy either way. But this one just feels different because I specifically don't like who he is as an individual. I never like fake people. I never fuck with that. And you look at me, I don't really give a fuck if people love me or hate me. I'm not going to give any fake laughs to people if shit's not funny. He's the opposite. He wants to be buddy with everybody. He's trying to buddy up with every other fighter out there. I don't really get it. I'm not in this fucking game to make friends. I'm in this game to be the best bantamweight of all fucking time. So we're just very different people. And his fighting style, it's just very different from mine. He doesn't specialize in anything. He's not very elite. And I think I'm just going to be able to expose him. I get 5 fucking rounds and 25 minutes to do so.
So I doubt it kind of matters in your mind, but should you get past Raufeon, obviously we got Magomed and Pachi in the other semifinal that night. I assume it doesn't matter which one of them wins. You'll take either of them on if you don't have a preference.
No, I don't really have a preference. They're not really on my level. I think my side of the bracket is more elite. I think me and Stots are better than Pachi and Magomed. But after I do face Stots, I don't really know who I'm going to face. If I were to have a prediction or pick somebody, I would say the Russian and Magomed, but I'm not too confident in that pick. They're not that high level guys. Pachi is only good if he gets your back and has that body lock. But if he doesn't get there, he doesn't really look too good. And that Magomed guy can sometimes be tricky because he throws a lot of spinning attacks, which is very unorthodox. And they're small gloves, so they can put you out. But if he doesn't get that on the button, then he's kind of not very good. So I don't really care who I fight. I love talking trash and I love getting in people's heads and having trash talk back with me. So Pachi would be a fun fight because I know he would talk the trash. I don't think Magomed speaks too clear of English, so I don't know if he'd be able to talk trash back. So again, I don't really care. It'd be nice to trash talk somebody and have it back and forth, but I don't really give a fuck. Either way, they're both fucked.
And now, considering just the level of hype that this fight with Raufeon has had, considering all the anticipation for this and all the hype that's been surrounding the Bantamweight Grand Prix over the past year, what do you think an undisputed title fight with Sergio would do? Do you think that could even be a much higher hype and anticipation than this fight with Raufeon?
Yeah, absolutely 1000%. Right now I don't look at Sergio as the champion of this division. I look at Stots the champion. Sergio Pettis is a bitch. He's a pussy and he couldn't even make it to the fucking tournament. Plus, if you just look at his skill set, there's no way he's on par with me or Stots. So I do think Stots has the belt right now. I'm going to have to take it away from him. This isn't an interim title to me. This is an absolute title. But if you just go along based on my fight is the next biggest one. Anytime I'm fighting, it's absolutely huge. I'm only going to get bigger and brighter and more popular through my career. So when I do face Sergio, I will be even bigger, and that will make it an even bigger fight. Obviously, he is technically the champion, so that will just be a big fight in and of itself. But this is an absolute massive fight. I think this is one of the biggest fights in Bellator history with me and Stots. And I think any fight that I'm in is going to be one of the biggest fights in Bellator history. I'm an electric guy and people want to see me fight, whether it's they want to see me get my fucking head knocked off or me knock a guy's fucking head off. People are going to want to tune in. They think I'm interesting. So any fight that I'm in is going to be bigger. And the next one, no matter what it is going to be even massiver. Stots doesn't really have too big of fights. He's 33, 34 years old. People think he came out of nowhere. And no, he's been in this game for a while. You're just starting to hear about him now because of me, because he's fighting me. So any fight that I'm in is going to be absolutely massive. But this one against Sergio obviously will be even bigger because he does have the belt.
Any prediction on how this fight with Raufeon is going to end?
Yeah, I need to torture him first. I need to get him fucking dog tired. I want to dominate and impose my will on him. This won't be a successful fight in my book if I go out there and finish him right away. I want people to understand how much better than I am than this motherfucker. So what I got to do is dominate him for a few rounds, and then I'll TKO him probably in that fourth round.
And what ultimately would you say is the long-term goal in your career in this sport? Because it's just getting started.
Yeah, it is. I'm only 29 years old. I only started MMA about 4-ish years ago. I want to be the best fighter that ever lived. That's something I've always had on my eyes since I was born. I always knew I was going to go into fighting, and why not try to be the best? I think I have the capability to do it. I'm at the best gym in the world, and I have the dedication, heart, and God-given abilities too. So why not, shoot for the stars? I do think that one day I will be considered the best fighter of all time, but I just got to stay on the right path, stay focused, show up at the gym every day, twice a day, listen to my coaches, no matter what they say. And I should be, but obviously one fight at a time, one round at a time, 1 minute at a time. And that starts with Raufeon Stots, December 9th at the Mohegan Sun.
All right, last question, bit of a silly one, but your nickname is the Italian Gangster, and there is another person over in the UFC who has an Italian nickname, the Italian Dream, Marvin Vettori. What do you think of Marvin, and do you see yourself as a better representation of Italian MMA than him, or is he cool with you?
Yeah, I don't really follow the UFC too much, unless some of my teammates are fighting from American Top Team. I don't really tune in, but I do know Marvin. He's a great fucking fighter. He fucking hits like a truck. He's a great dude. I never met him, so I don't know him personally. I can't really talk if he's a good guy or not. I don't fucking know. I do root for him whenever he fights, just because he does have the Italian background. But yeah, he's a great guy. I don't really know him too much, but yeah, I hope good things for him.
December 9th in Bellator is going to be a very big night. Danny Sabatello challenging Raufeon Stots for the interim Bantamweight Championship in the main event of the evening. Danny, thanks so much for joining.
Yep, thanks for having me on.